All right, I'll answer questions at the end of the day. At the end of the session, I'll answer questions. Um, I'll answer questions at the end of the day. All right, at the end of the session. But for now, I want to go through the plays that we talk about, or the plays that we took today. And I don't know, you guys need to understand that, like, when it comes to taking certain plays and stuff, if I feel like it's not gonna work out, right, I much rather close for a almost nothing loss than hold through to see if it actually does something. Right? If we look at the BTCM, right? I mean, don't you guys should be glad that I told you guys to close at 603 because this shit dump, right? The bias disappear. I see no reason to stay in this anymore. Oh, this thing. Oh shit, this thing actually broke 624 scalp. What the fuck? Okay, but I missed it. All right. Anyway, you see, I told you guys to cut it because you actually dumped. There were no guarantee it's gonna make a move like that, right? So I closed it for a negligible loss. Yeah, but this 620, damn shit. I didn't see it. I was too focused on ABV and QTTB, but you can see how well this worked out. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice scalp to VWAP. Exactly where the rejection was at. Okay, so over here, all right, SQNS, right? This was good. You see that when I feel like something doesn't work out, I'm more than willing to cut it. I'm not gonna bargain, argue, sit inside, hope, and all that kind of stuff, thinking that it's gonna make a recovery because that is what destroys your profits. That is what helps you widen your losses, right? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I don't care. I don't want to play around too much with it, right? Because I want to keep my losses as small as possible. Okay, so let's talk about the first trade today. I'm pretty sure all of you guys want to know about BTCM, right? One of the most insane run that we have, and I think it's something that you guys pretty much got as well. I think some of you guys even managed to play off the dips as well, right? The force dips. Okay, I personally didn't want to play it because I was afraid of a potential liquidation flush. So that's why for me, I was only focusing on breakout. But I think what you guys can see over here is that I didn't say Lalo size. I did not say small size though, right? I just told you guys to walk away for the breakout. Why? Okay, look, so this is where you guys have to understand this one thing, right? Whenever we play a Chinese name, right? Whenever we play a Chinese name and it has news, okay, generally speaking, high chance. All right, remember, we talk about percentage probability. There's a high chance that this Chinese name don't do well in market open as compared to what it did for pre-market. And you guys can clearly see this is exactly what's happening right now. Right? Obviously, there's still a 20% chance, of 10-20% chance it might continue. But generally speaking, from my experience, what I've seen so far, Chinese tickers with news do not perform well at market open. But they perform really well in pre-market when there's news. I think one great example was for you guys on MLGO, right? Every single time where this ticker has news, in after hours, it always flies very nicely, isn't it? Look at this. Let's see if there's anyone. Is there anyone recent? Let me see. Maybe 30 days of 90 days. See that. There's this one. Right. So I don't know. Maybe this is news over here, but I know that Chinese names, whenever they have news in after hours, right? So in pre-market, look, this one had news in pre-market. It went from 353 all the way to 528. But then look at what happened for market open. It sucked, right? Absolute died. So this was the mindset that I have, right, when it comes to the Chinese names. So if you guys know this, I try to keep myself as clear as possible, right? Every single time we play a Chinese name, I always say small slash lotto causes a Chinese name. Small slash lotto causes a Chinese name. But this time, I didn't say nothing. I just told you to watch for the breakout, right? And because it's Chinese though, I'm not gonna play the dips because I don't want it to be mistaken for a liquidation flush. But the level stays the same, right? If you look at this over here, we didn't lose $4, right? And this was picture perfect dips over here at force. This was picture perfect dips over here at $4. But I personally don't play that. I want the breakout confirmation because I want to know if, right, this breakout, All right, if this stock can break out, right, it tells me that this is very strong. Okay, so now why $5, right? Now, first off, $5 is a psychological level. It's just like how $1 is to penny stocks, number one. Number two, if you look at this on the intraday chart, right? If you look at this on the intraday chart, let me show you the weekly first. We might see more moves in ABVE. Let it ride. Okay, I have my stops on the 144. Let's do its own thing. It's cool. So we can see that this $5 level over here is a pretty significant price action separation on the weekly chart as well. Right? You have rejections over here, right? And then when it broke out from it, it tried to act as support for a little bit. You see that? Remove the EMAs. Maybe you guys can see it better. You see that? You guys see that? You see this little notch over here? So this is my weekly chart, right? So it tells me a lot of things, right? It's a weekly chart. It's big. But when it comes down to the 1 minute time frame, it's also pretty clear, right? It's obvious that the $5 is not only aligned with the weekly levels, but it's also aligned with my intraday levels. So there's a lot of confluence over the $5 level. There's a lot of confluence over the $5 level. This is the breakout. It's nice, isn't it? To be honest, if you guys take your entries over here and want to have your stops on the $5, that's fine. Because it's wide enough. There's enough fluctuation room. You know, I say 460 just in case the breakout wasn't strong like this. But this is a very strong breakout. Regardless, you should take your entries, right? But this you can have your stops on the 5 because it's a pretty strong breakout. It's not like like a peaking out type shit. It's a strong breakout. Do you guys agree? This is a strong breakout. Do you guys agree this is a strong breakout? This candle. Do you guys agree this is a strong breakout candle right here? No? You see this? This is a very full body, right? At least 3/4 of it, right? Or maybe two-thirds of it is above the $5 line. It's a very strong breakout. So you take your entries over here, right? And then obviously you start scaling profits on the way up, right? I was scaling profits once they hit 560s and 580s. But now look at this, okay? What did I tell you guys? Once 7 a.m. hit, this thing exploded further, I took out more. And for the rest, I wrote the 21 EMA trend line. This is what I always say, right? Look, 7 a.m. pump over here. It's to $8. I took out more. Price went down. The 21 EMA trend line is still holding on. Why do I have to sell everything? And then it went up crazy. And once we lost this 21 EMA trend line, I knew that the trend wasn't really, it was starting to feel a little bit shaky, right? And it was done. But hey, this is a crazy ass move. This is an insane move to start the day and maybe even end the day. Right? It's a crazy move to start the day and maybe even end the day. Right? It was absolutely insane. Yeah, this is absolutely insane. And then because of the some of you guys was asking me, right? Oh, any more re-entries of BTCM? Any more re-entries of BTCM? The reason why I did not give any re-entries of BTCM is because of my thesis about how Chinese names do not, right? How Chinese names do not continue well in market open. But if we break 820, I probably might try some. But if not, look. Was there any point for re-entries on this today? No, there wasn't. Right? It's much better if you trade ABVE, right? Move on to something else. Okay, SQNS midday, right? QTTB, right? There's a lot more better options. Okay, so that's why I did not play anything after market open because I told you guys this before, right? Sure, sometimes I take some trades. Sometimes when I take some trades, I'm just looking for quick scalps and stuff. But ultimately speaking, generally speaking, when I take a trade, right, I want that to have potential to at least make new highs. This a little impossible. ABVE may be a little impossible too, but I mean, you're gonna say no to 140 to 180? No, and we're still running over here. By the way, there's no telling how high this can go. Maybe this can go further. I mean, we have a broken trend. There's no reason to sell everything. Look at this 21-week trend line. It's trending very nice. right? Even right now, if it loses this 21-week trend line, I don't have to worry, right? Because I told myself to have my stops on 144. My entry is 141. This is super risk free for me. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't go, it's fine, right? It's not like I have a lot left, but I should still be taking profits if you guys have it. Yeah. So that's that. Now we talk about the losing trade now, right? CGTX. Okay, I can talk about SCFX, but I wanna explain something to you guys about CGTX, right? And I want you guys to understand again, right? Losses happens in trading. Okay, losses happens in trading. It's really how quick you can understand that it's not working out and you adapt, right? Those that don't adapt, right, and ignore the warning signs, and they're really uh headstrong about what they want, and they don't care about whether the chart's telling them is bearish. These are the ones that you lose a lot of money. There is no ego involved over here because your money is gonna be you're gonna lose money. Right? I could be wrong about CGTS, or I want the CGTS to go, CGTX to go, right? But if I'm wrong, I'm not gonna stay there and be like, no, 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 I'm right, add more, add more. Nah, it doesn't help anyone, it doesn't help me, right? So look, this is why I took CGTX. Okay, so first off, this ticker, okay, let's get this clear, right? Because of this move, okay, in morning, okay, we have like a downtrend over here. Now price went down, right? Consolidated over here, found a little bit of a double bottom, very nice candle push over here. Now I accumulated my position at 98s, right? I wanted to accumulate down to 90s to stop loss underneath this double bottom over here, 88 cents, as you guys can see. I want to close underneath this 88 cents level. So what I wanted over here was for this, because see, price went down, right? Price went down. Is off this high lows over here. This one thing, right? Accumulated over here for a bit, right? And then we have a very nice candle. We're still consolidating above on VWAP, and then we have very nice volume push, right? I mean, you can see. So I thought that we might get a breakout move over here. Okay, I mean the volume looked like it was still good. I thought we are gonna have a breakout move over here, so I started accumulating my position. Right? I wanted to see this maybe, if it pulled back, if it retraced, let's say if it tapped onto this resistance line, that's fine. Right? It doesn't mean that it might break out immediately. Sometimes you might need to pull back and then consolidate a bit again before we actually get the move. If you guys remember, we had this same setting with CLDI yesterday, right? Let me just pull it out for you. We had the same settings with CLDI yesterday, right? Over here, we got a breakout move, price went up, right? Rejected, went down, but we were holding on to trend. That's the difference. And price went back up again. This time for CGTX, okay, again, you see both are off the same price range. So I was looking for some sympathy move over here, right? And healthcare sector at the point of time was still hot, right? So look, on this note, right, when we pulled back, okay, I wanted to see if we can base on this, right? And form, a cup and handle or inverse head and shoulders, or whatever you guys want to call it. Because if this thing does this, there's a high chance it's going to do that. But what happened? We didn't not base on it. We just went down. I closed my position. You can be wrong, right? I will be wrong. I'm not telling you guys that I'm going to be right all the time. I'm going to be wrong, right? But it's how quick you adapt to it and accept it. Because we move on to something else. If I tell you guys, hey guys, no, just buy the dips, this is gonna go back up, and then you see everything else running and this thing continue to not do anything the whole day, that's more irresponsible of me, isn't it? Right? It's something that looked good, but it rejected the downtrend breakout, right? It couldn't form higher lows. It couldn't form high lows and stuff, right? And then there was not much we can do. There's not much we can do. We just have to take the loss and move on, right? Because that's just how it is. We just have to take the loss and move on. Yeah, we just have to take the loss and move on. That's it. Okay, I will be transparent. Okay, I'm not gonna, I can explain the reason why and stuff like that, right? I wanted this to break out, but sometimes, again, we are wrong. Sometimes the technical analysis, there is no such thing as 100%, right? It looks good, but sometimes the market just sucks, So that's where you have to take your loss. And again, this brings back to the point me saying, hey, losing is part of trading. You cannot avoid it because you know it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen. Okay. All right. So now after that, right? After that, I noticed that the entire market, right? BTCM wasn't doing good. KLTO didn't have volume at all. CGTX wasn't doing good. SAFX wasn't doing good, right? Remember the watch list I gave you guys? CGTX wasn't doing good. SAFX wasn't doing good. It was really not doing good on the first candle, by the way. Never recovered. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else? BTCM wasn't doing good, right? I was very hesitant taking this. And then KLTO just had zero shred of strength. Zero. Right? Zero. Oh shit. We're about to make new highs over here for ABVA. Yo, who's ready? Who's still in this with me? Who's still in this ABVA with me right now? Alright, let's go. Let's go. Okay, so with all this not working out, right? With all these triggers not working out, okay, I see no reason in trying to fixate on this anymore because they're all dying. So I started to look at the scanners for new setups, and I saw SGN, right? And I saw SGN, and this one over here. Okay, I'm pretty sure you guys, if you guys were fast enough and used the active trader function or whatever, you could have caught this 1.4's entries. Because look, I didn't take my entries over here. I couldn't catch up, right? When I posted this, it was at 150s. I wanted 140's pullback. The next candle, right? It went all the way down to 147. Lowest, 146. All right, I grabbed it and scalped it up. And you see, I even spoke to one of you guys, right? So one of you guys said you got it at 150. That's fine, okay? You know, it's not too any difference, right? And then the price went to 175. And you see, what's the important thing is that whenever I take profits, okay, I always raise my stop loss up. Sure, initial stop loss is under 120. But once we have moved up, we need to raise our stops together too, under 140 to reduce the risk, right? And because if this thing starts to go down to 120 from here, I mean the trend is absolutely broken. So when the price lost 140 over here, I closed the rest of my position. But one of you over here continued holding on to this, even until here, and asking me whether this is going to recover. That's not the right thing to do, right? You're killing yourself, right? You're killing your account by having all these kind of hopes and dreams, because again, the market doesn't care about what you think. Always remember that, right? I raised my stops. Initially, my stop loss was under 120, right? So I was ready to grab the dips over this area here. Okay, but it went up too quick. And I was like, okay, you know what? I can't be so stingy. I can't be so stingy about where I want to add. So anything from 140s, I'm grabbing, right? Because we have a gap through over to 190. And there's no news over here, but it was the only thing that's flowing nicely. When everything else is dying, we might catch on over here. But why do you guys think this didn't follow through? Because ABVE came along. Because ABVE came along. And that's where we have to switch. But I always tell you guys, right? Take SGN, take profits on the way up, take profits on the way up, especially when this thing doesn't have a catalyst. There is no justification for this move over here. Right? There's no justification for this move over here. So that's why, right? It's I have to be more conservative while taking my profits. Because there is no justification. There we go. I told you, no news here, so securing profits. There is no news. You cannot whatever. You cannot assume it's gonna go crazy. Unless we've seen, this week where tickers with no news go crazy, but that's not the case. Instead, this week the tickers that go crazy are the one with catalysts. So this, we cannot assume that's gonna go crazy. Right? And then when this thing lost 140, I closed the rest. Small green over here, right? But hey, still green. And now I move on to something else. Right? Look, guys, once I took my first loss on CGTX, which is bound to happen, all right? Which is bound to happen. All right, once I took my first loss in CGTX, was I stubborn enough to keep trying it? Was I fixated about trying to find something from the watch list? No, because I was looking through everything and I understand. Okay, you know what? Momentum and flow don't look too good. In the watch list and the pre-market runners, right? These are the pre-market runners. Let's move on to something else. After CGTX didn't work out, SGN, fresh setup. ABVE, right? Fresh setup. You see? I adapt. I'm not what's that? I'm not gonna say that I'm wrong. Right? I'm not gonna say that I'm wrong. I'm okay being wrong. Because I understand that this is gonna 1 second. Right, I'm okay being wrong. Because I know that, I'm eventually, I can't be 100% winning trader. That's just unrealistic. Right. So I move on to new tickers, right? I move on to new tickers. Remember what I said before. You can perform technical analysis on these tickers, right? Look, maybe I can show you guys something, right? If we look at KLTO, people keep talking about downtrend breakout, downtrend breakout, downtrend breakout. Okay. Right. We could say that, this is a downtrend breakout here. It did move a bit, but is it worth it? 1.5 to 1.57. Is it worth it? I'd much rather take this downtrend breakout. You see, right? You can perform technical analysis on any ticker, right? It's because sorry, 1 second, over here. KLTO. We know what this is, no vol, right? We have a downtrend breakout here. But is it worth it? 1.5 to 1.57. Is that worth it? It's not. It's a waste of time. Right? When you have a much better volume setup that broke the downtrend, it pays much better. Right? You have another one over here, right? With high volume setup after a series of consolidation moves over here, right? This is much better. So you can perform technical analysis on any tickers. But if you're looking at the wrong ticker, it doesn't matter, right? It truly doesn't matter. Because volume is what drives the stock, right? Volume needs to be there to drive the stock. Okay? Yeah? So over here, look, right? I couldn't tell you guys what price I'm just gonna add it, but I can tell you guys what's the plan, right? What am I planning to do over here? Because when we're adding something off the unhold, it's impossible for me to tell you guys that I'm in at this price. Because again, by the time I tell you guys I'm in at this price, you guys look at it, it's already gone, and then you guys will start to complain and all that kind of stuff. It's tough. So I'll just tell you guys straight up the plan. Yeah, I'll just straight up tell you guys the plan over here. I'll straight up tell you guys the plan over here. Right? Look at the timing. Hey, yo, we're about to hit new highs. Right? I said this. Okay, what time was this? 10:21. So 10:21, which is right here. This is the 10:23 open candle, by the way. Right? We made new highs. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, but this is the 10:21 candle. Okay, this is the 10:21 candle. Right? Look at this. Okay, now look. I told you guys at 10:21, I'm going to be adding an open. It opened up at 10:23. So you guys have 2 minutes to prepare for this. Right? You guys have 2 minutes to prepare for this. I added around 129, 128, 130s, and we went up 140 something. I scaled some out. It halted down. I told you guys I'm going to raise my stop loss under 120 instead of the original plan of $1.93. Right? And from here, I just never look back. I mean, honestly, we never look back. We never even lost 120. If you really see this, we never did lost 120. Never did. Look at that. Wow. Actually, I didn't even realize this. Holy shit. But damn, you see? So I could still ride my runners from just now at 120s, right? But re-entries are important too, right? Re-entries are very important too. Because it helps you to amplify, to risk some profits. I was risking some profits over here. I told you guys. If it doesn't work out, I don't mind losing my money over here. But this was such a small risk. Remember that. The re-entries is 141, stop loss is under 135. That's a 6 cents risk, right? Right? This is 6 cents risk, isn't it? 6 cents risk. How much of a move do we have to the upside right now? More than 60 cents. This is a 1 to 10. Obviously, I'm not full size, or not full size all the way, but this is at least a 1 to 10 move. But obviously with reasons too, right? I did tell you guys this thing has potential to squeeze in after hours. That's the whole reason why I'm trying this. But I want to see whether we can get after hours flow for this, and we did. Right? At least re-entries provided you a way to reposition yourself with good, stuff. Right? I think any person on FinTweet or anyone that caught a play on day one and goes all the way up, like let's say BMNR for example, this person called it like $5 and it goes all the way to 100, right? But there is no re-entries and stuff. I don't believe he held through all the way. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? Because even if you leave runners and each time you make new highs, you take profits, right? There has to be a point where you don't have any more left, isn't it? There's no way you could have unlimited supply of runners, you know? It will run out. That's why re-entries are very important, right? Re-entries are very important. Okay, right? Re-entries are very important. All right, so really that's pretty much it. Okay. Really just want to really talk about don't be afraid to be wrong, right? But you have to accept being wrong, right? If you can't accept being wrong, you're gonna end up being caught up in stuff, thinking that you should be right, blah 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 blah, and you end up taking bigger losses while you look at the rest of the world move ahead of you. So it's much better for you to just take your loss, move on, right? Losses happens. There's always gonna be another opportunity. Don't worry about that. Okay? Yeah. So, anything you guys want me to go through today? Why did I believe ABV would make a move in after hours, right? So this is one question. So obviously I don't guarantee 100% of any stuff, right? I do not. Um, but it has the factor, right? It has the factor. It has the potential to do it. Oh shit! Right? It has the potential to do it in the sense that it has a lot of volume. Okay, I was waiting for one more liquidity grab on this name over here because see, right? So honestly, I was contemplating to take a position on this over here just now, right? Doing this consolidation phase, but it only was downtrending, right? So I wanted to see this kind of grab liquidity and reverse back up first. This is where I got it. This is where I got convinced to get this, right? And then after hours, this much amount of volume, maybe market makers might be pinning the price down so that they can let this go in after hours because if they let this go in pre-market and market hours, right, there might be a volatility pulse, but you don't have that in after hours. This price can go as high as it fucking wants, and no one's gonna stop this. That's not gonna be a halt. Oh, no, that's not gonna be a volatility halt. Right? There is not going to be a volatility halt. So that's why. Do I know 100% it's gonna do this? No, but I have a stronger feeling about it. A higher probability that it will. But there is still a chance that 20% doesn't do what it doesn't do it, and then I'm okay taking my loss. It's fine. Because I kept it super tight for you guys, right? I kept this place super tight for you guys, isn't it? What's the risk? It's like 6 cents. It's super small as shit. Either we squeeze or we don't. And we squeeze the fuck out. Okay? I don't know why you're in SQS at 3.86. When we're supposed to be in this at low trees, but just manage your risk accordingly. Yes, I have an IBKR account to play that move prior to 7. Of course, I missed out before, and then I signed up for an IBKR account. I will use Weevu as well, but I prefer to use IBKR instead. But this is the reason why I don't like trading pennies. Fuck the pennies. I think in the morning there was some pennies running, right? Fuck that. I was happy when it all died down. I think it was NCNA. It was Gibo. Man, fucking disgusting. Do you think early pre-market offers better opportunities compared to market open? Now, obviously, pre-market offers you the earliest opportunities because that's where the news first start to run, right? And sometimes it doesn't really continue to market open, so you don't get any opportunities at market open. So in a sense, yes, okay, but I want you guys to not think that that means that pre-market gives you an edge in trading. No, right? You can have the equal amount of edge for market open as well. Okay, you just have to focus on different stuff and not normalize 500% movers. But market open is where things start to go crazy too, right? You look at ABVE today, look at SQNS today. Pre-market did jack shit. Market open did everything. ABVE, pre-market did nothing. Market open did everything. So it's not meaning like, oh, you're gonna be a winning trader just because you have pre-market access. No. All right, market open is equally important. Just different in the way you approach it. Are you still in aspect? Yes, I'm still in starter size. Any interview? If yes, I'm very interested in the stock. Nope. I am a momentum trader, right? Oh shit, what happened over here? Yeah, nah, this amount of volume doesn't excite me. All right, it doesn't make me get off a bit. So nah, I don't like it. This is what excites me. This 397 million shares. This is what get my pants trembling. Yeah, now if it's being pumped by Joker, then I'm not gonna touch that bullshit. All right, Joker can go and now I'm not gonna say bad things about the person, but I don't like the way he does things. It's not organic. A lot of people are trying to pump it. So yeah. Do you hold the QTTB entry earlier or did you get out? You mean like the initial 3.2s one? I mean the 2.3, sorry, the 2.2. Honestly, I held on to it, right? Because again, I want you guys to understand that sure, right? I did say 220 is the breakdown. Okay, but um price did go underneath 220, yes. But I think, you gotta see that, this is, I would say, a very low volume sell-off, right? It's not like CGTX, where the sell-off was fucking high in volume. Okay, that sell-off on QTTB was a low volume sell-off. I mean, you guys can see, right? It's a pretty low volume sell-off, right? So, and I was monitoring it, and I was holding on to it was hugging the 220 regardless, the candles were hugging 220. So I was like, just hold on to it for a bit. If we lose this 215, that's why I'm closing off, because that's my 200 EMA trend line. But reverse back up, and yeah, right? But I didn't want to point it out. I mean, it's like, I got you guys for this anyway, so. Yeah, 200 EMA. I mean, the 200 EMA was, if we lose the 200, okay, if the price went like that, and it went underneath 200 EMA, I'm closing out for sure. But this one was still hugging the 220. It wasn't too far off. I could just give it a bit just to see, because it was a low volume sell off, right? If it was a high volume sell off, then I'll probably be like closing out immediately. No, it's cool, right? We got re-entries over here. If you guys caught it, were you in? Did you manage to catch the live trading over here, Coco? I usually think you're one of the earlier ones to join the session. Oh, you're not? Oh shit, that sucks. But hey, we got a nice squeeze movement, so yeah, it's cool. But did you catch ABB though? Look at the 21 EMA trend line. Hey, let's go. Yes, sir. Ride it. Like I said, ride it. You want to slowly take out 1% each time right now, go for it. Right? Look at this. Look at this. This is the after hour squeeze move. If this thing happened in pre-market, I mean in market hours, right? If this thing happened in market hours, what's gonna happen is that it's gonna be halted, and then there's gonna be a lot of bullshit. It's a 100% EOD play for you guys. All right, pause, close, stop recording.